Alright, so here is the Affinity matchup, the replays of it anyway. I hope you guys don't yell at me, but I still think that this is a good match to show, even though it is just a horrible showing of myself. So, I think I won the roll, and I saw this hand, and again, I'm still of the firm belief you do not keep a hand of no infect creatures. So I decided to mulligan, and then I mulligan into this, and I figured, well, I have Gitaxian Probe, and I have a way to hopefully get an island or just a blue source, and I kept the Blighted Agent hand, and I put the Blighted Agent to the bottom. I then probe to see. I hope it show to see this hand. So my opponent was on the absolute nuts. So next turn they get to go a 2/2 Carapace Forger. Um, and then they get to go turn 3 Prophetic Prism into Frogmite, and at any point if they draw Galvanic Blast, I'm pretty much dead. So they draw a. So I drew another probe, so I had to probe them again. Missed on the island for the next turn, but they drew a Springleaf Drum, and I drew a Glistener Elf. I figure, okay, well, Glistener Elf's not bad. And so I attach Rancor. I figured, like, okay, well, if I can remove their Carapace Forger with the Glistener Elf, is, if I can top deck a blue source for the Blight Agent, or if I can just draw some more pump spells, I should be in a decent, a decent way. So my opponent played Carapace Forger, and they didn't play Frogmite. So I figured, okay, well, hopefully they're just bluffing. And again, I miss. And at this point, I'm very, very far behind. But I decided to go for it anyway to see if I could catch their bluff. And of course, to my dismay, they of course top decked the Galvanic Blast because that's just my life against Affinity. And I decided to scoop because I'm pretty sure that once they go Frogmite, I'm going to go to 12, and then that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then I would be at 4, and there's no way for me to race. There, even if I draw the blue source, there would be no way for me to actually race. So I decided to scoop them up. So we'll go on to game 2. And now, before anyone says it, yes, I understand that it was, by all technical means, a premature scoop. Because I could just top deck an island the next turn, go Blighted Agent, go Rancor on it, and then if my opponent goes Frogmite, and then has literal nothing, I could then theoretically draw two pump spells, a pump spell that a Vines of the Vastwood or a well, the problem is I would have to draw Vines of Vastwood because I would be dead in 2 turns, and if I draw Groundswell, I have to get a land to landfall it. So I would put my opponent to. So let's say I would draw a Groundswell. I would still need to. Well, no. I guess so. If I drew runner pump spells, my opponent had literal nothing. Like didn't have another creature, didn't have anything. Then yes, I could have theoretically lived. So yes, that was theoretically, above all means, a premature scoop. But I did it, and such is life. Game 2 pretty much shows just the pure strength of this deck. So this was a great hand. Uh, I went turn 1 Glistener Elf, turn 2 rankered it again, attack for 5. My opponent went a Tog, and I drew to Sorcerer Strike and killed them. So that was a turn 3 win for this deck. So we will move on to game 3. I should also say I did not sideboard at all. You're pretty much just pre-sideboard against a deck like this. There really isn't much else to do. So now we get to game 3, and I should point out that yes, you are pretty much stone cold to standard bear. You have no way to remove it. If your opponent goes it, you just lose. That's just a fact. So end up mulliganing to 4 because I had no. Well, hold on a second. Okay. So I mulligan this hand because if I don't scry into a forest, I don't want to be too far behind. Where I'd rather mulligan into a hand of 5 where I have like 2 lands, a turn 2, something, and something else. I didn't. You could keep this hand, but if you don't top deck an untapped green source, you're kind of far behind. So I decided to take the chance and mulligan it. Then I mulliganed down to down to 4, and I decided, all right, I'm not going to go any lower. I just kept the hand. My opponent kept a one-land hand. I drew the source, and I drew Blighted Agent, but my opponent went Frogmite into a Chromatic Star, and I was like, okay, well, maybe I'll get somewhere, you know. And I drew a Forest, and I figured, all right, well, that's not that good. I'll save the Distortion Strike, and I'll leave Apostle's Blessing, and my opponent went turn 2 Standard Bearer, and that forced the scoop. So with the second hand, if I had drawn an untapped Forest, I could have gone Glistener Elf. My opponent would have gone turn 2 Frogmite. I didn't really have any way to win the game the next turn, and my opponent would have gone Standard Bearer anyway, so no matter what, I was losing this game. So there's a chance that I could have won game 1, but I scooped prematurely. I'll admit that. Game 2, my deck did what it was designed to do, and I totally crushed. And then game 3, the deck lost to what's designed to lose to, which is Standard Bearer. So, when you're building your sideboard, and you don't have Gutshot in it, that is something to think about, of course. So that's the thing about a blue-green Infect deck. You have to just, you just accept that you lose to certain cards that aren't very popular sideboard cards. So, it would be like, that there are white decks in the format, you don't see Cop Red around much, but you decide to not put Flaring Pain into your burn deck, and then you run into Circle Protection Red and you lose. It's kind of what it's like. So, if you'll just excuse me, I'll be right back. So, I really like this deck. I think it's a lot of fun. I think it's actually very, well, not very good, but I think it's pretty good. I think that with a bit of tweaking, it could be a lot better as well. So, I wouldn't be surprised if people took this into a league. I wouldn't be surprised if it showed up in Popular Classic Tuesdays a little bit more. Showed up last Tuesday, which was pretty cool. As far as the sideboard goes, again, I think that Serene Heart and Young Wolf are here to stay. I think the flexible spots are Dispel and Pulsum Rasa. So I could see going down to 2 Dispel and 3 Pulsum Rasa playing 3 Gutshot. I could easily see it. I think that Serene Heart is just strictly better than Nature's Claim for what you're trying to do. I heard a beep sound. I don't know what that was. Hope that was nothing bad. So, yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I apologize for the Affinity matchup being so bad, but I decided, you know what? I'll just show my stupidity. And if you guys hate it, you hate it. If you guys, think I'm cool because I am tough enough to show my stupidity, that's that. So yeah. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys watch next time, and I will see you again. Thank you so much.